The Jeff Meacham Network's Multiverse of Media. For over 15 years, the recognized symbol of excellence and the standard bearer in coverage of sports and entertainment.
Well, hello there. How are
Hello
we
there.
doing, everybody?
Yeah, it's been a week, huh, brother?
Well, I mean, this is already my second of 3 streams today, so you know.
Yes, all the live, JJ, all the live, all the time.
Right?
Yeah.
So, what is going on, everybody? Welcome
man.
to this advertised but impromptu dated
Yes.
episode of the Dads Not Always on Wrestling.
Yes.
I am, of course, the Renegade JJ Williams. He is, of course, the man, the myth, the legend, the West Coast professor, Jeff Meacham.
Live
We're
in
only 2 minutes and some change in. I can't drop the MRF in just yet.
No, you're good. But I am live in fabulous Las Vegas, trying to buy a preschooler's bedroom. Because that's how we do around here, kids.
Live from the fabulous Alibaba Hotel and Casino. And
Yeah,
if you know, you know, and if you don't know, get off our channel.
Well, no. It's just educate. Go find Fresh Prince.
No. See,
Oh, no, Full House.
That was Full House, bro.
Full House. Where the hell was I? Why was I thinking Fresh Prince for Alibaba Casino? I don't know. Anyway, Full House is on Max. Go look it up. Gave a show to another company for no reason. It's all good. But yeah, it's funny. I'm watching the video, the opening. There's lots to unpack in the video because a lot of those shots of us are in Vegas. Mm-hmm. So here I am at the scene of crime again. Kind of, sort of. Yeah, just a lot of interesting things in that video. A lot of interesting things happening this week, and it's funny how the news, the world news, ties into what we're doing today with our topic of top 10 Scream Queens. Because when we get to number 1, if you don't know the number 1 Scream Queen of all time by now, is now you can get the fuck off the channel. I mean, that's kind of ridiculous.
That's the tweet.
A lot of news in that area of the genre. So definitely be on the lookout for that. I also want to, first of all, apologize for my absence in watching along this morning, but also congratulate you on your recent, this morning's, we'll call it rebranding, if you will, of the costume. We'll definitely get into that during the shameless shill portion of the show, because that's what we do. We're salesmen. We're not podcast hosts. We are straight up salesmen. So it's what we do around here. I draw money so we can pay for next week.
You got to draw money so you can pay for tonight.
Yes. Oh.
You have a birthday you're going to be celebrating.
Yeah.
Not his own, so let's
not
happy birthday, Jeff messages.
No.
But you've got a birthday you're going to celebrate at a bar with at least 5 hot women in your entourage. This man needs money.
It's how the meat rolls, brother.
Has to be able to at least buy a whiskey drink for the birthday girl.
Yes. And as I said yesterday, help for the nail of debauchery and chaos. There you go. We'll leave that running for a few minutes. Yeah, it's...
And of course, if you want to dictate, as our good buddy Walter Cruz says, you must donate to dictate.
Yes.
It's as simple as that.
Absolutely. Absolutely. I'll go ahead and take that one off ticker so we can actually have them both up because, boom, there you go. We are ready for this day. And it's funny, like you said, impromptu, completely just, okay, we have a show scheduled for next Friday,
Yeah.
but it didn't feel appropriate to have a scary show not go up on Friday the 13th.
For real. Like,
It just felt weird.
This was gonna be our topic anyway. We were gonna do the top
Yes.
10 Scream
Yes.
Queens. But how do you do the top 10 Scream Queens on Friday the 6th?
The 20th. Yeah,
Friday
the
the
20th.
20th, Friday the 27th.
Weird. Yeah,
No. You do
no.
Scream Queens on Friday the 13th.
Damn it, that's right. The only other appropriate day would have been Halloween.
And then as a result of doing that, we started thinking, it was like, but wait a minute. That's 2 weeks back to back. We're going to give them a DADS. We got to give them something at the end of the month, Got to give the people what they want.
That's right. So we will. And we're still
I'll tell you what that is when we get to the shills.
Working out the date and time based on the Mouse Mafia. But today, again, this is our topic to begin with. It always was the plan, brother. Just not on today. Not on the 13th, but we are. And here we be. So we're going to start out with number 10. And much like the horror movie, if we're being honest, that most people remember her for, the fact that she's the first one is probably going to surprise a lot of people because she's a bigger star, arguably, than a lot of the people on the list. But much like Wes Craven and Kevin Williamson did in Scream, we're starting off, boom, hot and heavy with number 10, Drew Barrymore. In that moment at that. So there you go. Hi, Jay.
Hi. This is part of why I don't like these, but that's okay.
I know. That's okay. Like I said, we can take him down.
Twist my back to be able to be around Drew.
I mean, that's never a bad thing. How you doing? Okay, we can take him down for this week. I tried. I did better on the renderings during the manager show last week. It just didn't work out this week because A, it was last minute. B, trying to find them in the moment of terror was the challenge. Drew's happened to work out. But yeah,
you probably could have found a better one of her screaming in E.T., which, although not a horror movie per se, E.T. is an alien. And for a 5-year-old, 6-year-old, as Gertie was supposed to be,
yes,
frightening shit.
No, it is. And
I remember, a lot of people think about Drew and they think about her chick flicks.
Yes, of course.
They may think of Scream, which of course is where that renders from.
Yes.
But people forget about things like Cat's Eye and Firestarter that she did when she was a child.
Yes.
2 Stephen King movies, which we'll get up eventually. We'll talk about that later. But she did some horror movies as a child that gets slept on a lot.
Yes, I agree with that. Absolutely.
And that's part of why she's low on the list, because some of her other horror movies get slept on.
Yeah.
Like I said, people think of her chick flicks.
Yes.
They think about Charlie's Angels, maybe.
Yeah, it's more of an action thing, but still very much a female empowerment.
I was getting there. Maybe they think of a couple of action things like that. Her small but impactful role in Batman Forever.
Yes.
As Sugar.
Yeah.
Debbie Mazar's Spice.
It was so funny watching that back years later. It's like I didn't remember it was Drew. Like I knew she was in it. I knew that she when I see her, but when you don't watch something for a few years, like I didn't watch the Batman movies for years, you go back and go, oh shit, I forgot Drew was in that. She was, like I said, very effective. She was the straw that stirred that drink to get Bruce into that thing, to give Harvey and Edward the motherfucker's Batman. Oh my God, no way. Like it was Drew's character that led that to be. So people, again, I always think of her as, and again, this is going to sound way too kiss assy, and that's fine. The first time I remember seeing something that actually grabbed onto her for was Ever After. That interpretation of Cinderella, because the way they told that was so really far removed from the squeaky, glossy paint they put on Cinderella with Disney. It was
Right.
gritty. It was like, no, this stepmother is a bitch. And the one stepsister. It was really one of the first times I saw one stepsister not be like the other in terms of the treatment of Ella. And I love that. And that's why I love the way they went with the Disney story. But Drew's been a lot more of the thriller and horror stuff than people remember. And again, you think first of horror for Drew, you think of Scream. Like, okay, so let's just do what Wes and Kevin did. Boom, start us off with a big star.
Yeah, and again, much like the person we're going to get to at number 9 here, both these people are really low on the list because they're better known for things that aren't horror.
Yes, exactly.
They dabbled in horror.
Right.
They had some iconic horror movies.
Yes.
But their horror roles aren't the first thing you think of.
Yeah. But then I'm sure you're saying to yourself, audience self, why are they on this list at all? It's like, this was a challenge. And I only say that because trying to think of more than, we'll say, the top half of the list as being primarily horror people, thriller people, scream queens. It's like, they're not. Scream queens has become a popular term, and they've made a whole series out of it now. But the ones that are really definitively like, this is who they are, this is what they've done, it's a bitch.
Mm-hmm.
So,
like I was alluding to, our number 9 is probably best known for Party of 5.
yes.
She might be best known for Can't Hardly Wait. But it is her roles in I Know and I Still Know What You Did Last Summer that put Jennifer Love Hewitt on our list.
Yes. That was one of the harder ones to find of her because none of her are actually screaming. Like this scene right here, she's like looking up and yelling, and you get a good shot of her yelling. But like it basically, if we'd had that shot, she'd have been like clotheslining us both with the render. Like, not so much. But great. I found this one funny because I was like, do we put Brandon here just to get one person to think? No, Jeff, don't pop to Bruce. Bad idea.
No.
Okay, fine.
No.
Again, inside baseball, but I love it.
Because that was really the only scary movie that Brandy did. So,
yes.
I mean, it definitely doesn't work. And again, you can argue, well, if I Know and the sequel are the only things Jennifer Love Hewitt did, why is she here? She was the lead heroine.
Yes.
She's the reason that there was a sequel.
Yep.
She was the driving force between those original 2 movies.
Yes, she was.
So she deserved her spot on the list, albeit lower on the list, as a result of that.
Absolutely. And again, everybody at home, like there's a reason we're doing joint lists a lot of times because we've picked what we think are such like graspable, meaty topics. And it's like, yeah, we can talk about everybody on this list all day long for everything they've done, but we're narrowing it down here. So that's where, but you know what? I like the challenge. That's where it comes in, and it gets you to think. And horror movies, suspense movies, thriller movies should get you to think rather than just jump scare. And I think that's why it felt right to have this list be a true, like, all right, we gotta really get into this and really think.
Yeah,
I love that. So number 8 was somebody that JJ brought to my attention to put on the list, and we talked back and forth about it, and I'm like, okay, she makes sense. She's a more modern purveyor into the horror thriller genre, because when Chiddins was little Chiddins, she was the voice of Darby on My Friends Tigger and Pooh. And JJ reminded me that. I went, well, I can't watch Tigger and Pooh the same way again when I see her like this at number 8 in the new version of Carrie. How do you say her name? Chloe
Grace Moretz.
Grace Moretz. Thank you. Yeah. Darby from Tigger and Pooh. Take that in for a second. Let it fuck your shit up for the day.
Yeah.
And then we'll take it down.
And I'm going to leave her there for a second because
no.
I want to. Well, no, I want to bring up her filmography so I can help to justify why we put her on here.
Yes. And while you're looking
at a younger, more modern person, because people will probably be like, but. And let me say, this is the most modern person that is on the list
by a lot.
But people are like, but how is she a scream queen? She's got Carrie. It's like, no. Her very first film role was the remake of the Amityville Horror with Ryan Reynolds.
Yeah, and that that was scary.
She was in a zombie horror film the following year called Wicked Little Things.
Oh, that's right. Okay.
She was in another horror film the following year called Hallowed Ground.
Yeah.
You know, she's Carrie, obviously, we mentioned that. Although not a horror movie per se, she was in Johnny Depp's Dark Shadows, which is at its core a vampire thing.
Yes.
You know, she's been in quite a few things. She's the voice of Wednesday Addams in the animated Addams Family movies. Again, not horror movies per se, but the Addams Family are often thought of around Halloween time. So she's got a lot more credits than people really think about when they think of horror. And Big G giving his, I love Chloe, says he's waiting in line for a new tattoo.
Okay, I am so not hip. Is that a thing on Friday the 13th? Is that
I know a lot of places do it.
Okay.
They're not huge tattoos usually.
Right.
They're not like big old masterpieces like I have my daughter's name thing.
Yeah.
Small, kind of like our Long Beach tattoos.
Oh, okay.
Something horror themed, a skull, or they might do Jason's mask or Freddy's glove or something like that for $13 or $31, to get to play on the 13 number.
I like that. Okay.
But yeah, a lot of places do that. I've never gone to one for the deal.
Yeah.
It's something I've thought of in the past. But getting back to Chloe Grace Moretz, she's got a lot more horror credits than people think about.
She has more horror credits than people give her credit for.
There you go.
It's a dad joke. It's dads. Roll with it, kids. Yeah. So, and again, it was difficult, but it's when you think about it, it's okay, she belongs. Much like number 7 definitely belongs, particularly today.
Yes. Number 7 is a part of today's franchise.
Yes.
As a matter of fact, she was the final girl in the original film.
Yep.
We're discussing Adrienne King from Friday the 13th.
Yes. Good old Alice. Oh, having only recently seen, and recently being a relative term, within the last 5 years, having seen that the whole way through, her entire end of movie sequence with Betsy Palmer as Mrs. Voorhees was so good. I again, never having seen Jason the whole way through in any incarnation, any movie, and I know he's got only slightly less than Michael now because they keep making movies about Michael.
Hey, Pop, good to see you.
Good to see you, Jerry, always. But yeah, I mean, she's when you Google search Scream Queens, you also interchangeably Google search Final Girl because a lot of them are the same thing. She was Jason Voorhees' original Final Girl.
Yep.
And she made it through scene 1 or 2 of the next one? Whatever
Pretty
it was.
Much. And I mean, she's not just Friday the 13th, although she did do a few things Friday. You know, she was in 1, 2, and 4
Yes,
in
of
archive footage.
course.
She was a stunt performer for Ghostbusters.
Nice. There you go.
She was a voice looped throughout The Good Son with
Oh
Macaulay
man,
Culkin, which, again, while not a horror, is very much a psychological thriller.
and underrated as hell. By the way, I love Good Son. I'm sorry.
She was in Wolf with Jack Nicholson and Michelle Pfeiffer.
Another underrated one. Oh man, I love Wolf. People shit on me for that to this day. It's like that's so good though.
She was in The Butterfly Room,
Okay.
Silent Night, Bloody Night, Homecoming.
Okay.
You know, and then she's got a recurring role in an upcoming Crystal Lake. I'm not sure if it's going to be a series or a movie. It doesn't give any information. There's no link to follow to see what it is, but
No.
she's coming back and will have a recurring role in that.
Yeah.
We did get a $10 super chat from Pop. Thank you very much, sir. Greatly appreciated as
Thank you,
always.
Jerry. Appreciate that always with the super chats, Jerry. Thank you.
And we'll finish talking this, but I will take the lead on the number 6 one, as I know it's someone that my dad will definitely appreciate being on the list.
Yes, your son and I definitely discussed her. We originally came in with 4 that we knew we were going to have for sure.
Well, yeah, I mean, and they were the
Yeah.
heavy hitters. They were the ones
Right.
that you couldn't do this list without, you know.
Yes, but
although one of them we've already discussed.
Yes, we did.
Jennifer Love Hewitt was one of those 4.
Yes.
The other 3 we haven't hit yet.
Right.
But we knew that these 4 were going to be on the list, and then it was like, okay, now what?
Right. And JJ came to me with this name, and you know, it's like I heard it and I knew it was familiar. I couldn't figure out why. Then he gave me the initial credits. Like, okay, I know who she is. But then he just like, you know, if nothing else, to get the youngins Google searching and talking and watching the movies, throw her in there. Absolutely.
Yes, because I mean, when it comes to Scream Queens and when it comes to classic horror, there's nobody that appeals to me more. You ready for this, Pop? I know you're sitting down. Then our number 6, Evelyn Ankers.
Yeah.
That's right.
That is the still from the Wolfman publicity shoot, by the way, Jay. So, because I took out the background over basically where like just past your head is where the wolf head shadow is in that shot. Great shot. Oh my God, so good. Yeah.
Evelyn Ankers did a lot of stuff with Lon Chaney Jr. But in addition to that stuff, and we'll start rattling those off in a moment, Hold That Ghost with Abbott and Costello. The Wolfman, of course. She was in The Ghost of Frankenstein with both Chaney and Lugosi. She was in Son of Dracula with Chaney. You know, she's done quite a few things. The Invisible Man's Revenge with John Carradine.
Ooh, that's right.
The Frozen Ghost with Chaney. The Lone Wolf in London. Quite a few credits there for her.
She needs to avoid canine horror, clearly. Just in trouble. Goodness gracious. Yeah, I will always remember, of course, her and the Wolfman. And again,
as you should.
Yes, as I should. I remember being, of course, not allowed to watch those movies because when you and I were children, they were still probably probably not tame enough for kids young as I was to be watching. Now, show my 3-year-old that when we showed it to him, it's like whatever. But you know, at the point I was a kid. But the fact you remembered this really shocked me because like I for some reason I guess I thought I was the only one that had these. When I was a kid in the school library, they had these bright orange, like almost like Golden Book style framing, but they had all Universal monster stories. And I remember reading The Wolfman and seeing her face and the imagery, because they used the imagery from the movie. They just didn't actually show the movie because, you know, technology wasn't like that yet. But I remember reading that. I remember reading, I read The Invisible Man and The Phantom a lot. Like unfortunately not Chaney's Phantom, the one that came out, I think it was in the 40s with Claude Rains. Yes, The Phantom. But yeah, just so much good. And so when I watched the movie and they used imagery, and then when I went back to find the imagery here, it's like, okay, what? And then I remembered that picture because that was in the book, the Golden Book thing. I was like, oh, that's the one. That's the one we're using because she's just so innately terrified in that shot. Like, boom, we're using it. It was so good, and I'm glad we got to use it, and I'm glad we got to talk about her because again, I can't encourage people enough that are a fan of any genre or subgenre of horror. Go watch Universal movies. They are more than classics now. They are, as Tony Storm is now, they are timeless.
Absolutely. And I'm glad that you were able to talk just long enough because there they are, good sir.
Look at that. Oh, man. See, every single one of these was on my bookshelf at the library at school. Now, granted, the Wolfman, it doesn't look like the Wolfman does in the movie, but remember, that shot is like mid-transformation for Chaney.
I think that's actually a shot from the earlier Werewolf of London film.
Oh, maybe.
They used as a botch on the Wolfman cover.
Yeah, because yeah, that's true. Because everything else is accurate. That's weird. That's funny. That's true.
I remember my first exposure to Frankenstein Meets the Wolfman was reading that book.
Yes. Yes.
And I checked it out a few times from the Ruth Bach Library in Long Beach.
There you go. There you go.
They had a good chunk of them too.
Yeah, but just imagine this is an elementary school library.
Yeah.
In the 80s and 90s, and it's like you look back now and you go, God, they'd be cancel culture. Are you kidding me? Like, no way. So good stuff. Good times.
I took number 6. Go ahead and take number 5, good sir. I know you can wax proxy about this person.
Well, I mean, I gave Evelyn a great intro, but I know that's fine.
Well, I mean, I don't really know how to set this person up because she's become like a best friend of yours.
Yeah, she's definitely become a bud, and I'm, honorary throw to her Halloween 2 co-star or Halloween 2 co-stars, of course, Scout Compton and Christina Klebb. We'll talk about Christina later, and we'll throw shade at Scout for not being here again. Working in Thailand, good for her, happy for her, proud for her. But yes, number 5 started out in this gotta-ass crazy world of horror back when she was a little one. The shot we're using here is from Halloween 5, which, again, people aren't fans of Halloween 5 necessarily, but Danielle Harris really made you believe in the true terror of Michael Myers. Because, yes, he did, very, very clearly stalk after Laurie Strode and her friends in the first one, took out an entire hospital of people almost in the second one. But when it was realized, you can take her down if you want, that John and Deborah's vision to have Halloween be an anthology just did not play out. It's like, okay, well, what do we do now? We can't get Jamie Lee back. We can't, we can't do what we wanted to do and just be done with Michael. So John and Deborah just didn't. They were out of it for. John was out of it until the new ones came out. He was offered to come back for H2O and didn't. So John was out of the Halloween, as far as the Michael Myers stuff, for well over 30 years. And Deborah, of course, passed away sadly. I think she had a cancer. But it's like, okay, we're going to make another one. We're going to bring Michael back. We're going to do the return of Michael Myers. How do we set it up? Where we planted this family thread at the end of 2. What do? Use your daughter. And that's what they did. And they actually tributed Jamie Lee Curtis by naming Danielle's character Jamie Lloyd. So she played in 4 and 5. She did quite a few things in the 80s and 90s. She was a recurring on Roseanne, of course. She did that, one of my favorite guest spots on Boy Meets World ever. I don't care what anybody says. She was cute as hell as Harley Kiner's sister, which was funnier than shit. Ironically, her name was Teresa, which is funny enough for me and you both, but her nickname was TK, which this week is funnier in hell for all the wrong reasons. But anyway,
yes,
we'll get to him tomorrow. But then after years of absence and doing other horror movies along the way, and other little things along the way, she came back to Halloween.
Hello, Mansfield.
for Rob Zombie's vision of the movies. And one of us in this room isn't as fond of the Rob Zombies as the other. I'm not gonna lie. But I've always maintained that you take the shape mask off of Tyler Maine's head, you stop playing the Carpenter piano beat. It's a great set of horror movies. It's just not Halloween. But she, turned that role on her head, man. She stepped into Nancy Loomis's role of Annie Brackett, the sheriff's daughter, and just made it her own. Her death scene in Halloween 2, still to this day, much more so now as a parent. And Sheriff Brackett, by the way, played by Brad Dourif, the voice of Chucky, his reaction to her death is just not gut-wrenching, gut-splitting and removed from system. I mean, it's awful. It's tough. But she's gone on. She's basically become a true successor to Jamie Lee as far as she's done so many different horror credits and been in a wide variety of roles. Not necessarily final girl like, very much more, kick-ass, femme fatale type in a lot of ways too. So that is why I enjoy, and he and I thought on her being as high as she is. I'm not gonna lie. And I would have even ranked her higher than this, but he definitely convinced me of why 1 through 4 belong as 1 through 4. But yeah, Danielle, again, she's become a bud. She very graciously did that cameo for us, for our friend at the time, for her birthday. And we've just kind of been corresponding ever since. And I can't say enough good things about Danielle Harris. And I hope that once this silly I say silly, like I'm not trying to undermine it. Once the SAG strike ends, we will get her on this channel in some capacity or another.
There you go.
And Scout, gotta get Scout too. There you go.
I'm honestly not in a pissy mood right now, Josh. But
He's just tired.
If you want to provoke me,
Yeah.
I can get there pretty quickly.
Yeah. Tomorrow,
I'm actually in a really chill mood right now.
Yeah, he's kick back and relax. But yes, tomorrow is going to be interesting.
Frustrated at a couple things? Maybe. Pissy mood? Nah, not quite.
Yeah. Either at you, not yet.
Yes.
We still got 4 more entries in the chill to go, Josh. So
I'm gonna do 4 and 3. That way you can do 2 and 1. Because I know
That's
you
fair.
want to do number 1.
Well, I
gotta swap it out here. So I'm gonna do 4 real quick and then go to my other odd.
Well, 4's fine for me, only because when I encountered her where I encountered her, I knew she'd been in the more prominent role in a different movie genre, but I didn't realize, again, pretty hefty credits on the scary side of things for number 4.
Oh yeah, I mean, honestly, when I think of this next person, I tend to think of the scary more than I think of other stuff. And coming in at number 4 is one of, I guess we can call her the quintessential horror moms.
Yeah,
Dee Wallace.
It's even scarier when she pops out of nowhere.
You're the one that picked this render, damn it.
I know.
You did it to yourself.
I know. She gave me a jump scare just by popping. Oh, God damn. But come on, Scream Queens, it works.
Dee Wallace, now effectively credited as Dee Wallace Stone a lot of the times.
Yes.
You go back, her second movie role was The Hills Have Eyes.
I mean, there you go.
You got right there, Then she was in The Howling. She was in Cujo. Not necessarily a horror movie, but she was the mom in E.T. Again, an alien from outer space who makes your little girl scared shitless.
Yeah. Well, go ahead and finish these. I want to talk about E.T., but go ahead.
You've got Critters. You've got Alligator 2: The Mutation. Never seen it. Don't know if it sucks or not. It sounds like it sucks, but we'll just leave that where it is.
I watched the back 2 yesterday.
Another, not really a horror movie, but a ghost movie, The Frighteners with Michael J. Fox.
Yep.
She's in a movie called The Plague
I mean,
She is Cynthia Strode in Rob Zombie's Halloween.
Tyler got her good too. Tyler done killed
And then
her.
from there,
Yeah.
she did a few other things with Zombie. The
Yep.
Haunted World of El Super Bisto. She's in,
3 from Hell.
yeah, 3 from Hell. Thank you. I was trying to get down there. I'm scrolling through some of these others.
Yeah. I forgot she did 3 from Hell till you said it. I'm like, oh shit, that's right.
Ouija House, Death House, Red Christmas, Critters Attack.
Yeah.
She's in the Munsters movie that Rob Zombie did. She's in Jeepers Creepers Reborn. The
Oh,
woman has got a legacy, if you will. And no, we're not talking about Randy Orton, Ted DiBiase Jr., Cody Rhodes, Manu, Domino, or was it Deuce? I don't remember. Anyways, we're not talking about them. We're talking about a legitimate legacy here, folks.
oh.
The woman has got a legacy in horror movies.
Take her down. Damn it. It's gonna become like the new freaking Twix logo now, right? Yeah, I had forgot. I watched ET many years after it came out. Well, again, I watched it again, I should say, but with Jaden Dillon. I'd forgotten how scary that scene is, where they've got the house like tarped off, and like the space guys. That is frightening. It's legitimate, and again, it's not supposed to be horror. It's supposed to be like real life. Like, this is some real ass shit. It is disturbing how quickly that happened and how invasive those quarantine folks were. It legitimately frightened me watching it back all the years later that I did. It's like, you know what? This isn't a horror movie. This is some scary ass shit here. So I'm glad we brought ET up twice, because people just tend to romanticize it. It's like, nah, man, that's some heavy shit going on in that movie.
I mean, at the end of the day, it's a family movie.
It is.
It's a science fiction movie.
Yes.
But it's definitely got its dramatic moments that, depending on what age you're seeing this for the first time, can be traumatizing.
Yep. Yeah. Dylan's mom saw it not when it first came out, because I think she was only a year old at that point, but definitely young enough where it got her. I got lucky and saw it many years later, but it was still scary. So,
see, to my knowledge, it never scared me. And Pop's in the chat, he can correct me if I'm wrong.
And he will.
But one of the earliest memories I have, and I don't know if I've done this to myself or not.
Okay.
But I swear that I saw E.T. and the Muppets Take Manhattan as a double feature in a theater.
Oh.
Like, some reason, I swear that happened. I could be completely wrong. I've been thinking wrong about it all my life. But for some reason, I have this as an image that I went to a theater, saw both movies the same day, same time as a package deal. And when you figure it would have had to have been 2 years removed from release, because Muppets Take Manhattan was 84. But E.T. was still that damn popular.
Oh, it was.
That,
oh my God.
I mean, run that shit back, make it as much money as it can.
Yeah.
Don't be a dick, Mansfield, okay? I could just have a faulty memory on that one. Like, that's unnecessary.
Yeah. No, that's fair.
Unnecessary.
No, that's fair.
But yeah, like, I've always loved E.T.
Yeah,
I don't know. As I've gotten older, I watch it now and I'm like,
Right.
It doesn't have the same muscle memory for me that it had when I watched it as a kid.
Right.
But I still enjoy the shit out of it, and especially Henry Thomas, Elliot, somebody I enjoyed back then because I enjoyed him in Cloak and Dagger. And then many years later, he was in Gangs in New York as Leonardo DiCaprio's best friend. It's like, cool seeing him as a grown-up. Drew Barrymore fell in love with Drew because of her performance as Gertie. Followed Drew's career for years. Bought her autobiography.
And
read that as a kid. Little Girl Lost.
Yeah. Now
Okay,
she was
Pop says that he thinks I'm right. Good to know that I'm not completely loony on this, but
the old Paradise Theater. Wow, that's a name out of the
the
past. My
Paradise
goodness.
Theater that became the Triangle Theater that became the extension of Cervello's.
Yep. Palm Beach back in the day. Do 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 do.
But yeah, I mean, had to have D. Wallace on this list.
Oh
And
yeah.
especially, having Cujo fresh in my head from having watched it for reviewing for Stephen King Month.
Yeah. And again, like you said, Stephen King movies aren't necessarily horror, but they're definitely thriller.
Oh yeah.
Every single one of them, and they are scary. Without that's the point. They're the horror that makes you think. So I don't know. For me, seeing Cujo, I'm thinking I'm not getting a dog. That's what I'm thinking. Especially not Saint Bernard. Thank goodness Beethoven came along and changed the rep real quick.
Well, that's the thing. That's the whole reason Stephen King used a Saint Bernard.
Oh,
Saint Bernards are thought of as happy helpers, the original service dogs. You think about the depictions of, people in like Alaska and the snow and the dogs they have with them. They're always Saint Bernards. They're the rescue dogs.
yes.
The most pure of souls can still be turned evil.
Yep.
That was the whole point of the Saint Bernard, because everybody has this image of fluffy, cute, cuddly, helpful dogs.
Yep.
And all it takes is for one to go rabid.
Yep.
And they're ready to gut you.
So are you trying to say even a bite, maybe when the moon is full, can change anyone or any man, anything? Is that what you're trying to tell me?
Yes.
Okay.
We already know that. We discussed that one already.
I don't remember the whole phrase. That's why I was. I know you know it by heart.
Fail me, Jeff. You fail me.
You know what?
Stop at home. Go ahead and sing along with me. Even a man who is pure in heart and says his prayers by night may become a wolf when the wolfbane blooms and the autumn moon is bright. Which, of course, for the sequels, they changed to when the moon is full and bright.
Yeah.
Because, if you're going to have sequels, you got to have full moons when it's not autumn. Just saying.
If you're going to cuss me out, spell my first name right, shitface. Anyway, okay, you know what? That's it. Put the comment up. I'm sticking my mom after you. You done did it now. You spelled it Jeffrey. You have done fucked up.
I mean, at least he's watching on my channel for a change.
But he still put it on the wrong spelling.
I know.
I'm calling my mom right as soon as we're off the air, Josh. You better, I don't care if you are or how, you better hide.
Moving right along.
My mom would slap the bitch over worse than that. Anyway, there you
go. So are you saying that your mom could be Josh's worst nightmare?
I am indeed.
Because
along with many others.
3 is the original Scream Queen from that franchise.
She had to deal with our favorite burn victim long before anybody else did. But in the process of her Heather Langenkamp, of course, as Nancy in A Nightmare on Elm Street, and she came back a couple times over the years, including New Nightmare, which I think even now doesn't get near enough love like I feel it should. I think New Nightmare was way better than people gave it credit for. But I enjoy it. I definitely enjoy the first one. She survived. Everybody else passed away. Got killed in that movie. Passed away. Listen to me, I'm being all freaking calm about it. Like, no, they got gutted like a fish. Except Johnny Depp, he got sucked into a bed, which
into a bed vortex.
Yeah. What's so funny about that one and Friday the 13th? Think about where Johnny Depp went after Nightmare. Think about where Kevin Bacon went after Friday the 13th.
Mm-hmm.
And it was both. I know it was Johnny's first major role. Pretty sure it was Kevin Bacon's as well.
Yeah.
And both of them just did not survive the night, folks. Just the way it is.
And then either Friday 3 or 4 had Crispin Glover as well, who would then go on to be George McFly like a year later.
Yes. And then his likeness went on despite his trying not to. Hence the SAG rules. Why they're striking now, kids? Just saying. Seriously, if this goes into effect and works, it should be called a Crispin Glover clause. Because it was shit like this that he sued. I'm getting, but it's not my fucking problem. I'm trying to help my friends that are on the picket lines. Anyway, yeah, Nancy, Heather Langenkamp. I mean, it is the one of the quintessential four, if you will: Chucky, Jason, Michael, Freddy. That is the most scary. And people are like, wait a minute, just hear me out for a second. Yes, a killer version of basically a My Buddy doll is frightening as hell.
My Buddy lost. They were not able to sell a doll after Child's Play came out.
Nope.
Period.
Nope. No, I have the My Buddy doll. I think it's the camper version at home. Dylan, I forget how old he was, but he had just either seen Chucky or heard about Chucky, whatever it was. He walked into my room at the time, and Buddy was just kind of like hanging over the bed there, as he always does. I've never seen that boy run that fast the opposite fucking direction in my life. He was like, nope, I am not fucking with this today. That is not happening.
And can somebody tell me what it is about kids named Andy and toys that come alive? Can we have a conversation on that?
You know, it's funny that you mentioned that. And I don't know if you were actually like, I don't know if you seriously know, so forgive me. Andy in Toy Story was named Andy because of Child's Play.
I know.
Okay. Yeah. That was the whole purpose. And like people that were horror fans, they got it. People that didn't just. But yeah, it was an interesting choice. While I'm talking about Chucky, we're not bringing up Jennifer Tilly. Definitely honorable mention because she's done a lot of horror credits. But at the end of the day, if not Tiffany Valentine, you're gonna remember her for being more of a B movie queen than anything else. I love Jennifer. Absolutely adore Jennifer Tilly.
And Tiffany is one of the killers. She's not a victim.
No,
she's the victim when Chucky kills her in Bride of Chucky.
Yeah,
he transfers her soul into the doll, and she's a killer the whole rest of the movie.
Yeah, if Tiffany's story ends with Seed, she's not reformed, but she definitely ends up being more of a protagonist because she rights the wrong. But then they continue the story with Kirsten Colt in the TV series. Tiffany is no heroine, my friends. She is an evil bitch.
No,
anyway,
she is the Martha Stewart when it comes to murders.
Absolutely. Very creative, that Tiffany Valentine. Anyway. Yeah, Nancy, what point I was getting at, killer dolls are scary. Yeah, giant, silent hulking broods and hockey and a hockey goalie mask for circa 1945. That's frightening. And if you think about the concussions, yeah, and when you think about concussions in hockey, that goalie mask is even more scary to think about on a personal level. Michael, again, no sound, no reason. If you stick with the original story, he just loses it. Freddy not only was a real person, Freddy not only, was depending on which version of the story, a child molester or a child killer, comes back and is able to kill your children in their dreams only. Humans have to sleep. That is the way of things. We have to stay hydrated, we have to take in nourishment, and we have to recharge. That is the basic three things we have to do.
Yep.
So just imagine if when you go to sleep that you could very well not wake up. That's fucking frightening as hell.
Absolutely.
And Freddy definitely brought that fear into everybody he encountered. And Heather Langenkamp as Nancy was the first one to survive it. And if you watch the first one, and only the first one, shit still got real at the end. We don't know what happened to those kids unless you watch sequels 2 through whatever it is, 45 at this point for Freddy.
At least Freddy never went to space.
No. And
or Manhattan.
Well, nobody wants to go to Manhattan on purpose. I mean, no, I love you guys in New York. I'm just kidding. I definitely want to go to Manhattan and see the garden. Thought I needed to be on New York shit list. That's the wrong way to be. But I realized you meant to talk about Heather yourself and threw it to me, and then I kind of roll with it, so I apologize.
So I'll just take number 2, and then you can bring number 1 home.
That works too, because number 2, again, we had to discuss as well. Not near as much as her co-star, but still discussed her.
But number 2 is probably the most controversial placing, because a lot of these women that we've discussed are classic women.
Yes.
The 80s, beyond, maybe the early to mid 90s, like Danielle, but the number 2 person, aside from the first 5 films in this franchise and maybe one other witch movie, you guys know what I'm talking about, doesn't really dabble in the horror.
No, not really.
But I defy you to find me a better successor to our number 1 as far as Scream Queens go.
Yeah.
Than Neve Campbell.
Be hard pressed. Really would. She Jay, you and I talk about how Scream both revitalized and killed and killed the genre.
Mm-hmm. And some fans are probably sitting there, how could it have done both of those? Think about it.
Yep.
Horror movies at the time of Scream were pretty much straight to VHS releases.
Yeah.
Very few theatrical releases.
Yes.
Maybe you'd get a made-for-TV movie, like some of the Stephen King stuff was at the time.
Yes.
The original It.
Yep.
Salem's Lot. Sometimes they come back. All made-for-TV movies. The Stand. Made-for-TV movie.
Yep. I have a great example for you.
So you would get some of those.
Yeah.
But Wes Craven's Scream brought horror movies back to a national bankable money-making level.
Yep.
How did it kill the genre? One scene with Randy, Jamie Kennedy.
Oh, his fault.
When he got up at that party, paused the movie, and gave the rules of horror. For a kid who had seen some horror movies, but was really just starting to immerse himself in the genre at the time, horrible movie to see at that point.
Right.
Because you watch it and maybe you don't think anything of it at first.
Yeah.
Whatever. It's a fun scene, especially with Matthew Lillard saying, "I'll be right back" afterwards, totally messing with Jamie Kennedy's Randy.
Yes.
But then the more you watch horror movies and the more you watch Scream, the more you realize that Randy was right.
Damn it. Yep.
And so now you start watching things and you see a couple of kids sneaking out to the car or sneaking out in the woods and they're smoking weed. They're dead.
Yep.
You see a bunch of high school kids throwing a party with beer. They're dead.
They're dead.
You see the boyfriend and girlfriend sneaking upstairs to go have sex. They're dead.
You see a black woman.
Everything that he said.
Yeah.
You can time the beats almost.
Yep. Absolutely.
And yeah, it used to be you see a black sidekick character.
Yes.
They're dead.
Yeah. Of course.
Thanks to Dwayne Jones, I want to say his name was, in the original Night of the Living Dead.
Yes.
LL Cool J. Twice. Brandy.
Yep.
And a few others.
Yes.
That rule has now been shattered.
Yes.
Much to Bruce's chagrin.
But hey, his wallet got a little bit fatter after that movie. Or actually not fatter. It got
back.
Yeah, I was gonna say, it got replaced. I still find that so friggin' funny.
Yeah, and for those of you that don't know what we're alluding to, my friend Bruce went to go see I Still Know What You Did Last Summer in theaters just to watch R&B singer Brandy get gutted. She survives the movie. Spoiler alert! Shit's like 25 years old. Deal with it.
All right.
She survives the movie. He went to the ticket booth. I want my money back for this movie. Why? I paid money to see this person get killed. They did not get killed. I want my money back. Here you go, sir.
Bruce was so convincing in his argument that they gave him the money back. No questions asked. That is true power, kids.
God damn you, Mansfield.
But you can't pray for me to get laid, you hypocrite.
Yeah, right.
You hypocrite.
Speaking of hypocrites, we'll be talking about a major one tomorrow on Open Mic Night. Stay tuned for that show.
Probably the greatest graphic you've done yet, not going to lie. Anyway.
But if Nev Campbell is the successor to our number one,
yes.
Meacham, talk about our number one.
This is more emotional for me now than it was even a week ago. And I say that because I finally got to watch the Oscars from, I think it was earlier this year. And through all the movies and all the genres and everything she's been through and seen and done and whatever, even in the moment, she still tied it back to 1978 and a low-budget little nothing movie made out in Pasadena, California, which doubled for Haddonfield, Illinois, which wasn't even a real thing at that point. And Jamie Lee Curtis, our number one, thanked as she elbows JJ in the nose. There you go. He's down for that count. Careful on a couch, might come up behind you and stab you with a freaking try to stab you, and you end up getting shanked with a needle nose instead. Or needle.
Right. I'll just use some of Busta Rhymes' Kung Fu.
No. Brad Lori, I apologize again for that. Just not for JJ saying, just the fact you had to deal with it. We love you, Brad. Without Jamie Lee Curtis, this genre doesn't exist. The show, topic doesn't even hold water. She was the definitive original Scream Queen. She did the Halloween movie. She did Prom Night. She did so many things that relatively early on she went, you know what? I think I need to purposely step away. And she did for many years after that. She did a lot of different kinds of movies. Fish Called Wanda, comes to mind True Lies, which is an action movie with Schwarzenegger, which you don't think of Jamie Lee Curtis at that point. You do now because she kicked so much ass in that movie. But, she did so many very, very variety of things. And then 1998 comes along, and you mentioned horror going straight to video. The Curse of Michael Myers, Part 6, was so theatrically bad. And I say theatrically because the producer's cut's much better. Buy that shit on Blu-ray. Yes, I'm telling you to put money in the studio's pockets for that because the producer's cut's so much better. Curse of Michael Myers is so bad that Michael, if he were to survive going forward, was going to be a straight-to-video guy like everybody else had become almost. And then the studio went, what if she's willing to come back? And she did. 20 years later, Jamie Lee Curtis was back, H2O. My first time seeing a Halloween movie, not in theaters, but I did see it. That was the first one I ever saw. And I wanted to see the rest as a result of it because I wanted to know the backstory. Why is this person so obsessed with his sister? Why does he want to kill his sister? We don't want her. And then you go back and watch Halloween 1, Halloween 2, and you go, oh, okay. And then she came back with a caveat, this is it. We're killing Michael, this is it. And they pulled her aside and go, here, let's try this. And spoiler alert, this movie's also 25 years old. Get the fuck over it. Almost 25. She dies in the first 10 minutes of Halloween Resurrection. Michael finally accomplishes his life's goal. He killed his sister. That's it. It's done. You didn't need any more of a movie after that. I'm looking at you, Rick Rosenthal. I met you. I like you. You're a nice man. But no. And the Akkad family, I'm looking at you also. No. But then to her credit, she returns again in 2018. It's like, all right, we're doing this. We're doing this.
40 years later.
Yeah, 20 years later again. And John Carpenter comes back as a consultant and, of course, doing his music. Because that's what really John wants to do, is the music. I mean, that's what John was about for these movies, was the music at this point. And for my money, yes, they announced yesterday they're going to have the series continue as a television property in parts, and it's gonna be like a cinematic universe type thing, which is fine. I want what I think Virtue talked about it recently on one of the shows. I want to see the time that Michael was at Smith Grove with Loomis and get that gap filled, like they tried to do with Star Wars, like they tried to do with other things over the years. But Laurie Strode,
like they're going to be doing with Pennywise here coming soon.
Yes.
Everything prior to the formation of the Losers Club is supposed to be what we get focused on and see.
I am here for that.
Ended up coming to Earth. All the other things that Mike Hanlon talks about that Pennywise struck, and the Easter egg thing, and I'm forgetting a lot of the stuff right now because I'm just focused on this. But all
things
the
that
other
happened,
encounters in the 27, 30 years, depending on which version you go by, all that stuff that happened in Derry history is finally going to get explored.
Yeah, and people have talked, we needed the gas filled in Star Wars. No, we need the gas filled, period. I'm not saying we have to give Michael a backstory, but if we're being honest, when the only backstory we have to go off of is the trailer park trash version of Michael, no, I want to see the prime timeline. I want to see that. And the reason I want to see that is because of how wonderfully told the story was with Jamie Lee Curtis as our final girl, our final person, our star. I thought they did a great job.
I like the whole two of them being siblings thing. I thought that was good because it gave Michael a bit of a motive. Yeah, sometimes creatures like that are better when they're just crazy and there's no rhyme or reason.
Yeah.
But I like there to be a little bit of motive, Even Freddy has motive.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
Jason has motive. Chucky has motive.
Yes.
Everybody has motive except for Michael, depending on which timeline you follow.
Yes.
I liked them being siblings because it gave him a motive. And
that's
then,
fair.
Depending on daughter, son, which timeline you go, makes sense.
Yeah. It does.
It's still connected to that family.
Yes.
Everybody else that dies is subsequential.
Yep. Sacrificial lambs along the way. But
pawns to get to Jamie Lee Curtis, Laurie Strode.
Yep. And without I don't think without Jamie Lee as powerful as she was. That was her first role, y'all. Her first role. And she did so well. And that's why people are very divisive on part 2. I don't know if he still does, but at one point Aaron ranked 2 higher than 1. And it's like at the end of the day, Jamie Lee Curtis is either mute or in a hospital bed for 85% of that movie. It's like, okay.
Like Halloween Kills.
Right? No. I've had the discussion so many times just on the way to and back from the convention. It's like, you take Kills, you divide it in half, put each half on the end of the other ones, I'm fine. Did not need to be 3 more movies. 2 would have been good. It would have been a trilogy. 78, and then the 2 new ones. Fine with that. Anyway, we're done. We're going to the weeds, but actually we're kind of not. And I say that because, yes, top 10 Scream Queens, Jamie Lee Curtis has to be number 1. There's no doubt about that. There was very little discussion about how we talk about it. But the reason we're going to have a bonus episode is because of 2 reasons. Number 1, again, we have shows back to back this month. It's like, okay, well, we need one more. We need to give the people what they love, what they want. And number 2, the subject of the bonus episode very much ties into number 1 and number 5. Mm-hmm. As depending on what the Mask Mafia throws at me, Friday the 28th.
And number 4.
And number 4. Yes, good call. Because I forgot about D. You're right. But either 28th or Halloween Day as a super duper bonus, if you will. The dads, not always on wrestling, will be giving our official discussed rankings of all, ironically enough, 13 Halloween movies. And then again, it'll be the 28th or the 31st, depending on what Disney throws at me on a schedule. So be on the lookout for it at the very end of the month. 27th, not 28th, excuse me. 27th is the Friday. I get the 20th on my brain because what we're going to be showing here in a few minutes. So yeah, that is the next time you're going to see the dads. Doing the dads thing is the 27th or the 31st of this month. So be looking for it. That's going to be an interesting discussion, let alone recording and response. Because it's ranking those is so subjective. Definitely is. And especially this week, Jay, a lot of our stuff is very subjective and diversified because we've kind of ran the gamut on topics this week alone.
Oh, yes.
And we're just going to keep on keeping on.
Before we get to those plugs, as we're doing the Halloween tie-ins, let's go ahead and you take a moment to plug this as well. Yes, I did mention Christina earlier, so thank you for reminding me. Again, we were supposed to see Christina at the convention over the last day of September and early October. She was unable to attend because of this very reason. SAG approved her directorial feature film debut, and it is being funded through Indiegogo. So check out the link there at the bottom. I'll give you guys a chance to get it typed into your, or at least bookmarked in your address bar. But yeah, it's very much a biographical pick as it is a thriller/horror movie, and I can't recommend enough giving her the opportunity to tell her story, because it very much is her story. I saw her right before the accident where she was thrown off a horse and broke her back, and she's been hesitant to do interviews and promos and stuff. And at least now we're going to find out why and get the story told. And I can't think of a more cathartic way for an actor or director to get that story off of them than to put it out there. It's going to be a very cool experience to see it go through. Yes. So with that being said, we're going to go into the shills. Yes, because this isn't the last time today you will be seeing me. No, nay. As coming up at 5 o'clock Pacific, 8 o'clock Eastern, the simple man with the spectacular voice and I will be giving our simple take of last week's WWE Fastlane PLE. That's right. Straight from Camp Crystal Lake. Yes. I had to use that for today. It's Friday the 13th. Had to find a way, by God. But also, as they're wrapping up that show, I will be heading across town here, and if we can, as they say in the commercial, roll that beautiful bean footage, Jay. Okay. Let me scroll down there because I was ready for the graphic. Well, go ahead. The video first. I have reasons. These 5 ladies are why. I'll be out of the house here.
Hey guys, Paradise Kitty here. This Friday the 13th at Vamped in Las Vegas. Come down, hang out with us. Let's throw a little party. Let's celebrate Jenna's birthday. Yeah! Bring her presents. Bring her Spanx. Bring me whiskey. Bring her whiskey. See that?
Always bring Jenna whiskey. Yes, tonight at Vamped out here in Las Vegas, run by the infamous Count, Danny himself from Count's Customs, with our special guest band prior to our going on, The Bones. Come out and see the girls, celebrate Jenna's birthday, buy her a whiskey. Hell, buy her all the whiskey in the bar, as you should. Yes, it'll be cool to see. Yesterday was actually her birthday, so if you're watching this in your preparatory stage, I dashed around like a crazy person right now, getting everybody together. Happy birthday, Jenna. And yes, come out and see Paradise Kitty. Come buy this shirt, as a matter of fact. Come buy this hat, as a matter of fact. Yes, all the merch, all the things. Jenna. Yes, yeah. And again, JJ did thank you in a post, and I want to echo his thank yous for the birthday song. Yes. When Ariel and Jen and I were at Disney, actually we were at Disney California Adventure at that point. So I love those girls. I always cherish the chance to see them perform. I love getting to work for them and do their merch sales and hear the Guns N' Roses songs, because Lord knows I can't afford a Guns N' Roses concert. My
Oh, you
goodness.
can't even afford an Eagles one.
Oh, no, and that's a whole other Meet Just Musings away. But we'll do that next week. Holy shit! All right.
But if you do want to hear people ranting on topics,
Oh boy.
make
Oh
sure
boy.
you tune in tomorrow to Open Mic Night, as we will be discussing, amongst other things, the
Oh.
hypocrisy of
Oh.
AEW owner, manager,
President.
president,
Oh, God.
whatever, Tony Khan. This is gonna be a fun one. Now, we do have other topics we're going to discuss.
Yes.
We're going to discuss Billy Corgan wanting to bring back the National Wrestling Alliance territories. We're going to be discussing Triple H resuming full creative power and Vince McMahon supposedly having no influence anymore over creative.
Right.
We're even going to get into Ronda Rousey announcing her retirement from combat sports, both Ultimate Fighting Championship and WWE.
There you go.
But this will be our main event.
And it will be lengthy.
And if you don't know why, go to Twitter, go to Twix, go to X. Twix is not for kids in this instance, they're children. Oh no, but look up at Tony Khan. Go back to, we'll say late Monday night, early Tuesday morning, and just read the diarrhea that came from his fingertips through his social media posts. And we will leave it at that because I have screen shots that will be displayed during Open Mic Night.
Shot. Oh wait, wrong kind of shot. First of all, no. Go one above that.
Hold on.
Okay. If you're gonna rile me up with an insult, at least use the right phrasing. The team in Philadelphia that shares the name with the band I'm talking about, Fly Eagles Fly. Mansfield, you were a bat Ofer today. You're killing me in the chat room, Smalls. Yeah, chill. It's Fly Eagles Fly.
I
You know what?
invented chill.
Chill. If you don't know that, get the hell out of here.
But we all know Mansfield does know that, so
he does know that. So yeah, that's fair. Yeah, I would normally say die Eagles die, but the fact that they came into the Rams' house and made them their bitch with my aunt, uncle, and cousin there wearing Eagle stuff, yeah, I have no fight in me on that one. Just saying. And the Cowboys just keep stepping on their own dicks. So what am I supposed to do with that? As you should, Josh. As you should. All three of them. I don't care what anybody else says.
Yes. And now we'll get into a little bit of what's to come next week.
Yes.
Beginning with, of course, the doors reopening as they do every Tuesday to everybody's favorite sports bar.
Yes.
Fat Boy Sports Bar featuring Dory Lou. The food is hot, the beer is ice cold, and the seats are warm. So pull yourself up a bar stool and engage in some professional sports conversation with your barkeeps, Stat Boy Mike and Dory Lou.
Back at its regular time at 7 o'clock Eastern 4 Pacific at that. We're back on normal hours this week, kids.
That's because a certain hypocrite isn't deciding to run against the NXT product. But again, we'll get deep down that rabbit hole come tomorrow night. On Wednesday, sir.
The return for the first time in 9 years, the Greg Cherry Show special edition will be Luck of the Draw. Myself, Greg Cherry, Maddie Laws, and Daisy Ruth, all involved on the floor of misfortune, I guess, lack of a better term, because there will be multiple kitchen items involved and probably a lot of messes. So it'll be fun. I'm looking forward to it. You know, we've got. Well, I'll have tarp down on the floor at the old studio, ready to go, because we've been wanting to do Luck of the Draw for a long time. Greg especially. Yes, Josh, and you just can't hide it. We know. Goodness gracious. But
is
the
he also
logistics of
so
it, Greg,
scared?
he should be.
Like Jesse.
I mean, he
said.
won't be on the screen, so he's yeah. Greg wanted to have everybody in person, and it's like, unfortunately, in the world combined with COVID and financials being what they are, it wasn't realistic to do that.
No.
But in a live setting with technology we have now, it's doable, 100%. So that's what we're doing Wednesday.
Yeah,
It'll be fun.
I mean, he might be able to can a few episodes if people come into town for WrestleMania 40.
There you go.
Depending on what day people come into town, and if he can get everybody to agree, he may be able to can a few different episodes for air at a later date.
Yeah.
But that's the only way I think it would be feasible at this point in a COVID era to be able to pull something like that. And yes, COVID isn't as prominent as it was 2 years ago or 3 years ago.
No.
But it's a world we're going to be living in for the rest of our lives.
Forever. Despite what the experts want to tell you.
Yes.
COVID will always be part of our lives. It's gonna be what it's gonna be, folks. So that took way too far. Sorry. There we go.
So in addition to that, we implore you to go back across the multiverse of media and check out the State of the Casa D18 Studios address that aired earlier today. It went live on the Casa D18 Studios channel at 9 a.m. Pacific, noon Eastern.
Yes.
And then it was rebroadcast at the top of each hour at 10 o'clock Pacific, 1 Eastern. It went across Noah's channel. And then at 11 o'clock Pacific, 2 Eastern, it went across Jeff's channel.
Yes.
I tried to put it across James's channel, but I don't think I have the current channel for James, so it didn't go through.
Okay. Well, now we know.
That's why I didn't say it, because I could see you were like waiting for me to say and James's channel, but
yeah.
I tried it, but I didn't see it go through. So in any event, it is on my channel, Noah's channel, and Jeff's channel.
Yes.
And it's basically just a little update on what's going on. There's some stuff that is going to be put on hold at the Casa, temporarily speaking, and there's some new stuff that is coming. As beginning next Tuesday, I will begin what is being affectionately called For the Love of Wrestling. And every morning, every Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday morning at 9 a.m. Pacific, noon Eastern, I will be doing basically my own recaps of the current wrestling product. Much like Aaron Rift on the No DQ side of things, immediately following Raw, SmackDown, and Dynamite. Much like our good buddy Dattila does after Raw, SmackDown, Rampage, and Dynamite. The difference is that in addition to those shows, I will also be covering Collision and NXT. So on Tuesday mornings, you'll get to see me cover Raw. Wednesdays will be NXT. Thursdays will be AEW Dynamite. And then on Monday, you'll get the whole kit and caboodle with Rampage, Collision, and SmackDown. And that is all coming up beginning next Tuesday after Raw on the Casa channel.
Exclusively the Casa channel.
But I still implore you to go back, check out my State of the Casa address, because I talk about some other stuff in addition to that, but we're shilling, so I wanted to let people know that they can check that out.
Absolutely. Absolutely. I'm trying to see what's now. I'm trying to remember what's next. There you go, brother.
I love you too sometimes, Mansfield. When you're not busy Mansfielding. You know, we got Fergal over on Monday nights Fergaling. As long as Mansfield isn't Mansfielding, or I guess the better thing is, as long as Mansfield isn't Meltzering, we're
Yes, that's the key. Yeah, no melting, Josh.
good. So
Um,
a week from tomorrow,
yes,
we will have our next watch along event
indeed we will.
as Impact Wrestling is bound for glory.
Yes,
Noah Foster will be on the call as per the usual. We need
yes,
to double check with Datilla to make
yes.
sure that she can confirm for that.
Right?
If not, then I'll probably end up sliding into the seat,
Yes.
which, if I'm being real, the card looks amazing right now. So I
Oh,
wouldn't
man.
mind sliding into the seat on that. But at the same time, Impact is a Noah Foster Datilla thing.
Right.
And as long as Datilla is able to be in that seat, I want to allow her that because she has the passion for Impact Wrestling that Noah does. And I love seeing them as a unit.
Yeah. And the only reason I would not be available, at least to start with, is it all depends on traffic coming out of LA that day because I'll be in LA for most of that day. So we'll see. But that night,
Well, freaking Josh.
yeah, please
Good
do with
boy.
Daisy in the room. Like,
Good boy.
yeah, thank you. Yeah, like Daisy's getting married. Like, seriously, Daisy's gonna put herself through this potential chocolate and egg and water disaster the week before she gets married. She's a trooper and a half. We love Daisy. We really do.
And then
But
immediately following Bound for Glory,
yes,
on that week's open mic night, we moved the date up a week
yes,
due to scheduling availability for our contestants.
yes.
But immediately following Bound for Glory, we will be doing Haunted Hangman.
Yeah.
What is Haunted Hangman? It's Wheel of Fortune without a wheel to spin. We're going to give people a word or phrase puzzle to solve, guess letters, and we will uncover the letter if it's there. If the letter isn't there, then much like the game of Hangman, we will draw the head, draw the body, draw the arms, draw the legs. Once your guy is complete, you're eliminated. Depending on how quickly that goes, we may do it like a best of 3 or a best of 5, I think, just to try and get more than one game in there.
And no, I will not be adhering to requests from the chat rooms of the past. I am not using the picture of Ray Traylor as the hangman.
No.
You're wrong for that, people. Terrible. Bad audience.
And then before we get to what will be this Sunday, I do want to really quickly remind people that while, yes, it hasn't been as prominent, as much content going up there as I would have liked, still make sure that you subscribe to the members only section of the Casa D18 Studios channel, the only place to get all of the exclusive wrestling content. Of course, Fall Brawl, Eddie Guerrero versus Chris Jericho is up there. And then as of noon today, WWF In Your House Mind Games went live. Noah and I entered the studio and called that last night as the Heartbreak Kid Shawn Michaels defended his championship against his challenger, Mankind, with Paul Bearer. This was kind of fun to watch because this was that babyface Shawn Michaels run that no one really wanted.
Yeah.
Jose Lothario coming out with him. Even Shawn's backstage promo, you can feel him trying to be the cocky and brash Heartbreak Kid, but trying to hold back because he's a good guy. He's a babyface. Watching him in the ring and seeing him just the brutality that he was trying to dish to Mankind, but watching him try to pull back because he's the babyface and he couldn't be that snot-nosed punk heel that he really wanted to be. That didn't really get unleashed until they booed him out of the Garden when he fought Sid.
Yeah.
So it was interesting to watch that one and call it. So if you want to see Noah and I call that, subscribe to the members only section and check it out.
There was a interview. I don't know if it was on the pay-per-view, so if you saw it, let me know, or if it was on Heat, where Foley and Pearce went out there to cut the interview specifically to turn the audience against Foley.
But
Because
they're
they knew where they were. Yeah, they're in Philly. They're not going to boo
ECW territory.
Yeah, they're not going to boo Foley in Philadelphia. So I'm pretty sure it was on Heat or whatever they call it, the free for all back then. Because it wasn't something on Heat back then. But whatever like I said, whatever the pre-show was, they went out there in front of the audience, specifically cut the audience down to make sure they would get at least an even keel of cheers. It still didn't work. They still, harped on the babyface Heartbreak Kid quite a bit, but at least there was a more of a smattering than just a flat out, this kid, we want Foley as champion, which they did. They really did. It's a fun show. It's a fun match to main event, very, very much so. Recommend highly you guys check it out in the members section. By the way, that members only graphic fit in very nice in that Mind Games graphic. That just looked like it was a real thing. That was beautiful. Looks good. Looks good.
And then, of course, to wrap up our shows this Sunday, just a few days removed from the last episode, Meacham.
Yes, if you all dare, go back and check out this week's No DQ review, which was 2 days ago, and hide your virgin ears if you do. But they'll be back in the regular time slot, Sunday night, 8 o'clock Eastern, 5 Pacific. Again, I won't be there. I'm working till, I want to say like 6:45, so I'll miss the whole show. But
I know it's been asked about to not go into that really. Both Aaron and Virtue have asked that people not really discuss it. I'm just going to say this.
Yes.
If you are a fan of the No DQ review and you missed this Wednesday's episode, it is a must watch.
Absolutely.
It is. The first part of it is your standard review episode, but once we get to the main event, it turns into a car wreck.
It does.
And I'm not saying that to be mean, but it's one of those things that, like, you should look away, but you can't help but watching.
Yes.
As it goes down. So I highly recommend that everybody go and check it out.
And again, since I won't get to do it probably before, if I happen to be on the tail end of.
Are they too sacred or scared, Josh?
Mansfield needs to get into Walter's stash and take a chill pill, or something. Anyway, what I was going to say was, in case I'm not back in time to catch up and Mike Knight or be on the tail end of it, I do again want to thank everybody on that panel, even the person that ended up leaving, because they all validated my point I was trying to make. Whatever it was, Monday night, whatever it was. Completely validated me, and I yes,
and
I
if
did.
You missed his stream about that, go to the archives and check out Jeff's Monday stream. Both of his Monday streams. His regular Meech's Musings, where he kind of tap danced around it.
Yeah.
But then his late night after hours stream, where the gloves were off.
Yeah,
and
they had
no punches were being pulled.
No, and
everything that he said on Meech's Musings was validated by the posts that this hypocrite was putting out on his social media, and the warriors and tribalists that came out in his defense.
Yep.
Watch Meech's Musings, watch the after hour stream, watch the review, and then if you still have it in your soul, if you still have a soul, tune into Open Mic Night tomorrow.
Yeah, for me, it was just remembering who was important, and the fact that my friends rallied around me, and was like, no, like, again, the way my Twix post came off looked rougher than it actually was, but having all four of them stay on air, it's like, no, dude, Tony Khan's wrong here, was very gratifying. So again, I'm trying to get a little too emotional. I got to get in the shower anyway, but I just want to thank everybody in the review. I want to thank the man to my left on screen here for backed me up every step of the way. Walter, especially, for backing me up, not only on that open forum, but also on the review. It's been a crazy ass week, and it's Friday the 13th in Vegas. So of course it's going to be a crazy day for me, but I just wanted to get it out there before I got too immersed in the, no doubt the whiskey being bought for everybody just today.
I feel like we need to lighten the mood, Jeff.
Oh yeah, definitely. Oh, fuck. Yeah. She crazy. Good show. Good. We love you too, Josh, when you're not melting. Anyway. And when you're not Walter, lack of spell checking. Anyway, Josh first he steals your Heather Highlighter. Now he's stealing Walter's gimmick. Josh, we need to find Josh's own gimmick. It's what we need to do. That should be our mission statement next week. Find Josh Mansfield his own gimmick.
There you go.
But thank you all for watching today. I know it was kind of last minute out of the blue that we changed it today. So thank you again. Thank you to JJ for being the man at the button today. Thank you to everybody that watched. Thank you to everybody that's been watching all week. Thank you to the hundreds, and I say hundreds literally, of responses on Twix, both before and after I went into private mode, because that just was odd. It was funnier than hell.
And thank you to everybody who tuned into our Tuesday night War Watch Along and refrained from the spoilers for starters for the NXT product. And who refrained from the toxicity.
Yes, that was
I
so
have not seen a toxic comment across any of the channels that carried that show.
Nope.
Either while we were live or since then in the aftermath. So to all of our hundreds, probably close to thousands at this point across all brands that tuned into that and resisted the temptation to dive in the toxicity. In the words of George M. Cohan, my mother thanks you, my father thanks you, Mr. Meacham thanks you, and I thank you. Have a good night, everyone.